Oh, brother. Looks like work. Kills. Primer. Oh, joy. It's time to, I'm getting ready. It's time to paint the ceilings, and I'm getting ready with it. I just went to the store, went to the Home Depot, of course. It's just right down the street from me. My favorite box store. And I'm going to be painting these ceilings with this. It's called Ultra Pure White. Let's see, you can see that. Ultra Pure White Bare Premium Plus Interior Ceiling Flat. Low odor, low VOC. And this is a standard thing you can pick up right off the shelf. They also have it in single gallons. This is a 2-gallon container. Have you ever seen a 2-gallon container of paint? There's the 5. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was going to need 5 whole gallons. See, 2 gallons. I thought it might be 2.5, but no, 2 gallons. And the condo's not a really super big condo, okay? But you see these walls? The walls are a gray or a beige, tan kind of color. And what they did is they decided to paint the ceilings the same color, and they used flat throughout. You know, somebody else before me, and they came in here. That way, they did the walls and the ceilings at the same time. They didn't have to cut in the ceiling, a white ceiling, to a different colored wall, let's say. And they just thought, hey, we'll just do that. And they did that. They did that throughout the entire condo. Can you believe that? Even these tall ceilings. Look at that. See, when you go with ceilings the same color as your walls, in the shadows and stuff, it makes your ceilings look pretty dark, doesn't it? If that's what you want, go for it. But most ceilings, if you look at your ceilings, you'll probably see that your ceilings are white, and then your wall, whatever wall color, goes up to the ceiling, and your ceiling gets all cut in. So see, my dilemma is that because that's kind of a tan beige color, I'm wondering if this white ceiling paint is going to cover in one coat. Because if it doesn't cover in one coat, that's okay. Hey, when it dries, I'll put a second coat on, which means I'm going to have to put one coat. When I put the one coat on with the roller, I'm going to actually cut it in with the paint with the paintbrush all the way around. Okay, I'm going to do that too, and then I'm going to let it set until it dries. As this ceiling's drying, I can do the closet. I can come out here and do these ceilings. I can start working in the bedroom, in the master bedroom, and stuff like that. And then it won't take long for this to dry. Then I can stand back, take a look at it, and see if I feel it needs a second coat. I might use the roller in one little strategic area in the back or something, and I'm sure with the second coat it's going to look good. But when I was talking to the guy at Home Depot, he said, well, this paint, I asked him, I told him of my concern that I may have to paint it twice, and he said, this stuff here is pretty thick, and so he thinks it might cover. So that's why I didn't get a fiber. There wasn't that much difference. Sometimes if you buy a 5-gallon paint bucket instead of a single gallon, it's cheaper than buying 5 single gallons as opposed to a 5. You know what I mean? They give you a little bit of break. And I was asking them, hey, what's the break between 5-gallon per gallon and buying a 2-gallon? It wasn't that much. It was only like 75 cents. I thought it might be $2 or $3. Or something, and I thought, you know what? Here's the thing. If I think I'm not going to need 5 gallons throughout this condo, why get a 5-gallon? I might be able to get by with 3 gallons total. I'm not quite sure yet, because the ceilings in the closets, we were talking the other day, and we decided we should do the ceilings in the closets. A semi-gloss. The ceilings in the bathroom, semi-gloss. The ceiling in where the washer and dryer is, semi-gloss. The other bathroom in the master, the other closet in the master bedroom, semi-gloss instead of that flat white. We'll use white semi-gloss. Okay, same thing in this bathroom here. And so you see, I've got a big huge ceiling here, one ceiling in this area here before you go down the stairwell, the guest bedroom, and then this room down here, just the ceiling. Okay, I may not need 5 gallons because the bathroom in here, we're talking about semi-gloss ceiling. The little closet in here, it's going to be a cat's closet. We're talking about putting a semi-gloss ceiling in there, where the kitty box can go, and you know, that kind of thing. Do I want a flat ceiling in there? I don't know. You know, I'll be hitting my head. Maybe I want to clean this out. Maybe I want to clean the ceilings, freshen it up for smell and stuff like that. Maybe I don't want a flat ceiling in there. So see, basically I got like 4 different areas of flat ceiling. Do you think that's going to take 5 gallons? I don't. And that's why, well, especially if I get lucky, if I get lucky and only need 1 coat over this. Of course I'm not going to need 5 gallons. So why buy a 5 gallon and have 2.5 gallons left, let's say, out of a 5. And I'll have it sitting in the garage for who knows how long before I need to paint somebody's ceiling. Oh good, I can finally get rid of maybe a gallon of the 2.5 gallons I got left, even though the paint can's been sitting in the garage for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So I'm starting out with the 2 gallon, and I could have got 4 gallons. I could have got 2 gallons. Okay, 2 gallon containers, and then if I didn't need the second one, I can take it back because they didn't have to pre-mix it with anything else. All he did was shake it, and then he puts it. You know, if I don't open it, I can take it back. And so I'm thinking, why get the 5 gallon? And here's the other thing, if I do decide that I need to put 2 coats, maybe I still only need 4 gallons total, or 3.5, 3 3/4 gallons. And so I'll just get another 2. And you know, this stuff is about $18 a gallon or so. And so I saved myself about 20 bucks. And this is easier to cart around if you got issues, or if you don't want to lift a whole 5, get 2 gallon. 2 2-gallon containers, 1 2-gallon container. That's going to be a nice paint bucket, you know, after the fact. After I clean it all up, I'm not going to throw that away. I'm going to save it. Here's on another job, I use this stuff here. This was interior semi-gloss, and I don't throw those buckets away. I save them. And see, the lid, I threw that away, but then you can buy a separate lid like this. Snaps right on there, easy to get on and off. And so, you know, that cost me a couple bucks is all. And so now I use that for all kinds of stuff. Don't throw away your paint buckets. You can always rinse those out. And if it's semi-gloss paint or eggshell paint, you let the last bit dry in there, let's say, and then 2 days later, peel it all out. You can peel it all out in one go, pretty much, and then clean up the rest. Don't rinse that whole thing down the sink or drain or something like that. Okay, and so there's my thought on the ceilings. And as for that ceiling, am I gonna use a 9-inch roller? No, I'm not. What am I gonna use? Oh, come on, where's the oh, here it is. I'm gonna use a 6-inch. I'm gonna use a 6-inch roller. Can you believe that? Yes, I am. And I got some roller covers for it, and they got all kinds of stuff in the store. This is the Pro Series. This is a better one. See, they have different ones. See this here? It says better. They have some other ones called good, better, best, and then the Pro. The best was the purple, the better was this other color. It's kind of like that. And see, after a while, you know, these here aren't as thick, are they? Now granted, I've already used that one for another project, but you know, there's no way I'm going to use that for this whole job. And this one here, see how thick it is as compared to these? Look at, see that? This only costs like 40 cents more than this purple one. And it's the same, the thing is, this one here is going to hold more paint. I can run more up here. And the thing I like, when I use a 6-inch roller, it's not as heavy over your head. It's easier to work with. It doesn't spit all over the place. You got one of these, and if you're painting all day long, and if you're not a professional painter, which I'm not, but when I get done with this job, it's going to look like a professional did it. That's why I'm hoping you watch these videos, okay? It's difficult to get that up there and to run it along there with the same amount of pressure, the same amount of paint as you go, because you don't want to, it's hard to do a little bit here and then go over your head and then kind of go this way, and you're backhanding, forehanding and stuff. And this, you think, oh, hey, it's easy, and you start doing it, and after about 20 minutes, you're gonna see what I'm talking about, especially if you got a 10-foot ceiling. This one's only 8 feet, you know? So I'm gonna have a nice, easy go of it. But if this was 10-foot ceiling, if you can barely reach it with your paint pole, as you're going, you do it up over your head, the stuff comes down in your face and your eyes and all over your clothes, and it's hard to cut in with that, and it gets heavy, and your paint extension piece is bending just a little bit, and you know, you got to know what you're doing to put the exact same amount of pressure on there, because I don't want stop and goes, and I don't want thick paint here and a little bit thinner and a little bit thicker, and it's not blending all in. Way easier for me to use the 6-inch. It takes a little bit longer, but it's easier to work with, and I can paint. I'll be painting ceilings I can paint ceilings all day long using that 6-inch. And you know, yeah, it's going to take me a while, but see all this high stuff? I got to get up there on a ladder. Last thing I want is running a heavy paint extension pole, and that the paint gets heavy on there. The roller cover is heavier, and the actual roller frame is heavier. Okay, so that's why I'm going to use the 6-inch and do that. Then when I cut in, I'm just gonna take this and hold it like that. Put a little bit of paint in there. Get my paintbrush up in there and cut in. And when I cut in, I'm not gonna have to cut in perfect, because these walls are gonna be painted too. If I get a little bit of white paint on these walls, I don't really care. Do you see what I'm saying? In fact, when I got the 6-inch mini roller over there, I could almost squeeze it over to the edge and run it along that edge, and I'm hardly gonna have any paint touch up on the ceiling. You see what I'm saying? And so another reason why I like to use the 6-inch for the ceilings, because then after I get done with all the ceilings, then on the walls, then I cut the walls into the ceiling. Do you see what I mean? In fact, I can use a throwaway paintbrush. I can use a 2-inch throwaway paintbrush. Look at this 3-inch that I use for ceiling floors, and I've used it and used it and used it. See how it's worn all out? But I could, in a pinch, if I wanted to, I could use that to cut in the ceilings. But here's the other thing too. If I need to do the first coat the best I can, okay? So because I want to get a full body of paint, if I use a paintbrush along the edges, okay, I want about the same thickness as how I'm going to roll it on with the 6-inch roller, okay, with this. Do you see what I mean? Because I don't want to skimp and just swish the paint on with the paintbrush on the side, because I may not get paint even on there, and because this is a tan color, the paintbrush might want to have a tendency to slide on there. And so I'll probably end up using my professional paintbrush. See how it's cut at an angle. It's also, the bristles are really good, and it's thicker, and it holds more paint on there. And then I can get a nice even amount on there after I get done with the roller. Then I can stand back. After it dries and look at it and make the determination, you know, the $100,000 determination. Do I have to repaint all of the ceilings a second coat? And if I do, I do. And then if I decide, here's the thing too, if I decide to do 2 coats, if I just do the ceiling with the roller and say, okay, I'm not going to cut in the first coat. I'm going to put the second coat on with the roller, and I'm only going to cut in once with my paintbrush around the edge. Maybe the paint isn't on there as thick as the 2 coats on the roller. So I'm going to end up cutting in the ceiling twice if I have to do a second coat. Some people let the paint thicken up in the container after a while, and plus this stuff is pretty thick anyways. It's a little bit thicker than regular paint, guys was trying to tell me. I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll see. And so you could possibly, if you had to paint this twice, you could possibly get 1 coat on with your paintbrush because the paint's thick, you know. And because I'm using the 6-inch roller, my cut-in is only going to be yay much, you know, like that much. It's not going to be, you know, 2 inches wide up there or anything. So there's my project, and what I'm going to do, I'm not going to paint out of that. Another reason why I get a 5-gallon container, I'm going to use this to paint out of. Okay, so I got my little paint frame and put that in there like that. Then I can swish the paint off and clean up, and I can just pour. I'm not even going to pour 2 gallons in there. I'll pour a gallon in there. Okay, now I can carry that around. I can slide it around with my foot, you know, carefully as I'm going, and just kind of do that. Easier to do that than if you had a 5-gallon container and you put the grid strainer in there. The first half gallon of paint, you can't really use this grid. The grid is designed to kind of wipe off the paint, and so you get an even coverage on your roller. Okay, you can't do that if you got a 5. Plus, you got to lift the 5-gallon container up. You can't just slide along with your feet. You try to do that, and you know, you could tip it over if you do it too hard or whatever. So always have an extra paint can. Okay, and then you can take your 5-gallon of paint, even if you're going to use 5 gallons. Take your 5-gallon of paint, pour 2 gallons in there. Or what I'm going to do, because I got a 2-gallon container, I'm going to pour a gallon of that in there. You see what I mean? Now you're working out of this. Okay, that's what you're working out of. At the end of the day, you can just take this, slide that down in there, take your paint lid, put that on there, because you're going to be back here painting tomorrow. Take that out, lift this up, put it there, away you go. Okay? And so that's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. And you might have been wondering, hey Joe, are you going to show us how to remove the smoke alarms too? Yeah, I'll do that too. Just keep watching. And these are probably not just battery operated. I'm guessing that they're battery operated with a lithium 10-year battery on there, and they're probably hardwired too. I won't know 100% until I take that down, will I? But when I get ready to do that, I'll show it to you. Hey, it'll be on the last bit of this episode. It'll be on the next episode, okay? Before I get ready to paint the ceiling, okay? Watch for it on my channel.